morning, students. Welcome to Gnana Deeksha, concept-based digital learning. Today, I'm going to teach you pronunciation and its importance, and based on it, syllables and word stress. And by the end of the class, you will be learning the importance of communication skills and how to identify syllables in a word and putting right mark, stress mark on words. Let me ask you a question. How are human beings different from other living creatures in the world? Yes, it's with the facility to talk. That means we, the human beings, are blessed with language to communicate. It's a God's gift to us. Language is one of the unique possessions of mankind. Let's know a little more about language. The word language is derived from the Latin word lingua. In Latin, lingua means tongue. Language is the set of human habits, the purpose of which is to give expression to human thoughts and feelings. Language, as a means of communication, helps us to express our views, thoughts, opinions in an effective way. This communication is done orally and in written. In order to communicate in an effective way, we use language. It must be clear and meaningful. Let me read out a small poem for fun's sake. It's all an awesome mess. B must not be heard in doubt. Dead and dumb, both leave it out. In words like psychology and psychiatry, you must never sound B. K is lost in no. Wrong will be wrong if you don't know. In architect, the CH is K. In arch, it is the other way. Sound the G in ignorant and signature, it must be silent in sign and resign. It's all very subtle. Don't you think English spelling is the world's awesome mess? Do you like the poem? And it's interesting to hear it. It's the speciality of English language. It attracts us, at the same time confuses us. But English, despite its difficulty and confusing aspects such as spelling, pronunciation and vocabulary, is being adored by people around the world. Let's look briefly at the salient features of English. Why is it adored by people across the world? Why there is a growing demand to learn the language? All countries in the world have their own national languages, their own regional languages. But English language has become the most demanded language globally. It's a prime language not only for the native speakers of English, but also for the most of the people in the world. Let's look at the role of English in the present-day world. English is an international common tongue. Proficiency in English enables individuals to land anywhere in the world and survive. English is a language of academia. It helps students to get good academic excellence, as most of the information in all fields of knowledge is available in English. English is a language of opportunities. The students with the best knowledge of English are the first to serve the society with lot of opportunities paved for them. English is a language of trade and commerce, court and law, sports and politics, technology, many other fields. In countries like India, where there are many languages in force in states, the adoptability of English fulfills to continue all proceedings in all the above fields. Though we all realize the importance of learning English and putting all of efforts to learn it perfectly, somewhere there seems to be some factors that keep us away from adopting and acquiring nativity of the English language, isn't it? Let's look at those factors and try to overcome them and acquire nativity of the language in our communication. We have already known that communication takes place in spoken form and in written form. In our class today, let's focus on English in spoken form. Ready? Yeah. Whenever a language is acquired, we tend to start with speech first. That is, the basic form of any language is a speech. It plays the primary role in communication. So, one must be very clear in spoken form for an effective communication. Here, the entire responsibility lies on the speaker in any communication process. Remember, the entire responsibility lies on the speaker. Speaker is one who speaks. So, the responsibility lies on the speaker in any communication process. As learners of English as second language, we must focus more on spoken form of the language by understanding the basic elements of language. The basic elements of spoken English are pronunciation, which involves spellings and syllabification. Stress, which involves bringing rhythm to words and sentences. As an effort to teach you correct pronunciation and stress, today's class syllables and word stress is planned. Follow it thoroughly. We form sentences when we speak. They are called utterances. So the sentences we speak are called utterances. These utterances are made up of words. Words, in turn, are a combination of syllables. And syllables are again a combination of sounds. As we've seen, the basic element for clarity of speech is pronunciation. It involves articulation of the sounds clearly, breaking of words properly into syllables, putting proper stress on the right syllables. In spoken form of the language, we must know the basic minimal unit of a language, that is sound, which is also called speech sounds or phoneme. What is a basic minimal unit of a language? Is a sound. In English alphabet, we have 26 letters, but 44 sounds. These 44 sounds are further divided into 20 vowel sounds and 24 consonant sounds. That is, the 5 vowel letters A, E, I, O, U give 20 vowel sounds. And the 21 consonant letters B to Z, excluding the 5 vowels, give 24 consonant sounds. For each sound or phoneme, there is a symbol. And we can find these symbols beside every entry in a dictionary. And also a chart consisting of all these symbols in the dictionary. Look at the words here. Institution. Do we utter a word like this? No, we utter institution. The second word, agree. What is it? It is agree. Third letter, happy. Fourth one, class. Fifth one, calendar. Sixth one, culture. Seventh one, word. Eighth one, syllable. In the given example words, we observe that the word is broken into units of convenient occurrences. Do you observe them? The words are broken into units of convenient utterances. That is, a convenient breath group within a word. This unit is called a syllable. Let's look at the definitions. The definitions of a syllable. A syllable is a part of a word that contains a vowel sound pronounced as a unit. A word or part of a word pronounced with a single uninterrupted sound of the voice. So you have to understand single uninterrupted sound of the voice. We can count the number of syllables with the number of vowel sounds we hear in a word. It is denoted by a hyphen. You can observe those hyphens there in the words. Here, in the first word, we hear 4 vowel sounds in the word. Institution or institution. So there are 4 vowel sounds. So we can say there are 4 syllables in the word. In the second word, it is a breathe. How many vowels are there? There are 2 vowel sounds. So we can say the word has 2 syllables. What is the third word? Happy. Happy. Here also you hear 2 vowel sounds. So here you have 2 syllables. Fourth word, class. Fourth word, class. How many vowel sounds do you hear? Only 1. So this has 1 syllable. What is the fifth one? Calendar. How many syllables you hear? Syllables means vowel sounds. 3. Yeah. In the sixth word, you hear 2 vowel sounds. Culture. Seventh word, can you identify? Word. Word has only 1 syllable. And what about the last word? Syllable. Here, in the 8th word, you have 3 vowel sounds. So, it is called a 3 syllables. So, based on the number of syllables a word has, we can classify words into monosyllabic words. What do you mean by mono? 1. Yes. So, a word which has 1 syllable is called a monosyllabic word. A word which has 2 syllables can be called as disyllabic word. A word with 3 syllables will be called trisyllabic words. And if you have a word with 4 or more syllables, you can call it as polysyllabic word. Learning to identify syllables is called syllabification. What is it called? Syllabification. So with proper syllabification practice, we can bring beauty to our spoken form. We can learn spellings correctly. We can influence the rhythm of the language and stress patterns. Just now, we have talked about syllabification. Syllabification is breaking a word into syllables. Breaking a word into syllables. It influences the stress patterns. Proper understanding of this helps in understanding stress patterns and acquiring proper pronunciation. So let's look at one more important feature of pronunciation, stress. Stress is another important feature of pronunciation. Stress is an extra breath force we put on a particular syllable which makes it prominent in a word. How did I pronounce the word prominent? Prominent. It's a trisyllabic word. Where is the loud voice you hear? Prominent. So, stress is defined as the degree of prominence a syllable has. The stress on syllable is denoted by an apostrophe in written form. So, when I say the word prominent, you hear the syllable pro louder, higher and longer. So, this is another feature of stress. So, a stressed syllable is normally louder, higher and longer. Look at one more example. Mechanical. Mechanical. Here it is. Mechanical. So where do you get this prominence of syllable? On ka. Ka. So ka is heard much more louder, higher, longer than the other syllables in the word. Mechanical. Let's go to another example. Communication. Communication. Where do you hear the prominence? On the syllable ka. Communication is a polysyllabic word and the prominence is on ca, the syllable ca, ka. Because it is heard louder, higher, longer than the other syllables in the word. Like communication. Can you practice some more examples like this? Good. If a word has more than one syllable, one of the syllables stand out from the rest. Then we say that the syllable is stressed. So if there are many syllables in a word, one syllable gets the prominence and that prominent syllable is called as stressed syllable. Here we have to be very careful and this is where we get confusion in learning English. Normally, a foreign speaker either may unstress a stressed syllable or ignore a stress on the right syllable. So that leads poor pronunciation. That leads poor pronunciation. Okay, so we have to be very careful that a wrong syllable is stressed or unstressed on a right syllable leads to poor pronunciation and makes our communication confusing. Static rules. Though there are no static rules to learn word stress, an effort to provide an opportunity to the learners made through certain rules. Are you ready to learn the rules and practice? Yeah, let us look at rules to learn word stress. Rule 1. Words with weak prefixes have stress on the second syllable. Words with weak prefixes have stress on the second syllables. What are the weak prefixes we can identify in the words like above, along, before, beneath, like that. So the words like about, where do you hear the prominence? On the syllable b. So words with weak prefixes have the stress on the second syllable. Look at the next example. Below. Below. As B is a weak prefix, the second syllable takes the stress. Look at the third example. Define. Define. Here D is a weak prefix, so the stress moves to the second syllable. Repair. Where do you hear the stress? On the second syllable. Yes, good. Confirm. Again, on the second syllable, we have the stress. So, what is the rule 1? Words with weak prefixes have stress on the second syllable. Shall we move on to rule 2? Yes. Compound nouns take stress on the first syllable. Compound nouns take first syllable. Can you give an example for compound nouns? Yeah. Blackboard, dining table. Gets it. Good. So look at the examples. Toothpaste, football. You can have many other compound nouns, but the stress falls on the first syllable. So the very first syllable takes the stress in the case of compound nouns. You can list out some of the compound nouns and try to put correct stress on the first syllable. Good. Next we have compound adjectives. Take stress on the second part of the word. Compound adjectives. Listen carefully. Compound adjectives take stress on the second part of the word. Second part of the word. Can you give an example for compound adjectives? Soft spoken. Soft spoken. Awesome. Yeah. So, in words like these, they are called compound adjectives. Here, the stress falls on the second part of this word. Look at the examples. Herself. Herself. Old-fashioned. Old-fashioned. So, the second part, here in the word herself, the second part is self. So, self takes the stress. And in the word old-fashioned, fashioned is the second part. So, fashion takes the stress. So, you can have some more words written and try to practice. Rule 3. Let's move on to Rule 3. Rule 3, it talks about words that denote numbers. Words that denote numbers. So, words which denote numbers have the following stress patterns. There are again two rules here. The rule 1 is words end in teen. Teen ending words like 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 and 19. So, these are called teen words. So, these teen words get the stress on teen only, like 15, 13, like that. There is another rule with numbers. The words that denote the multiples of 10. Multiples of 10, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Like that, the words with multiples of 10s take stress on the first syllable. They take stress on the first syllable. 50, 60, like that. You can write down so many numbers and try to practice. Are you comfortable with Rule 1, Rule 2 and Rule 3? Yes. Let's move on to Rule 4. What is Rule 4? Again, we have 3 different rules under Rule 4. This Rule 4 talks about suffixes. Suffixes are added at the end of a word in order to give another grammatical category to a word. Okay. So, what is the first rule under Rule 4? Most words that end in ee, eer,ette, quue, aire take stress on the last syllable. Can we get an example for each suffix? What is the word for ee? Decree, degree, employee. Yeah. What is the word with EER suffix? Engineer, millionaire. Okay. And what is the word with ETTE ending? Gazette, cassette, like that. And what is the word you can identify with QUE endings? QUE as a suffix? Unique, mask. Okay. And the last suffix you have is AIRE. AIRE. Here you have words like millionaire, billionaire, trillionaire. Okay. So such words, you have to write down all these words and try to put the stress mark on the last syllable. You can have the examples here. Employee. So whenever you pronounce a syllable, stressed syllable, you have to be much more louder, longer and higher. So employee. You have to pronounce the word like employee. Engineer, engineer. Gazette, gazette. Unique, unique. Millionaire, millionaire. So, with all these endings, write down words and try to put correct stress mark on the correct syllable. Where do you put the syllable? On the last syllable. In words, end in EE, EER, ETTE, QUE, AIRE, take the stress on the last syllable. Let's move on to B. The rule, under Rule 4, we have another rule. Words end in, listen carefully, words end in ION, IAL, IC, OUS, ION, IAL, IC, OUS. These are the suffixes. They are at the end of a word. Take stress on the penultimate syllable. What do you mean by penultimate? Ultimate is the last. What do you mean by penultimate? Is the second from the last. So penultimate syllable means the second syllable from the last. Good. So let us look at the examples. For ION, can you give examples? Examination, decoration, celebration, whatnot. You can have many words with ION. So write down the such words and try to put the right stress mark. Where do you put the right stress mark? For example, on the word decoration, where do you put the stress mark? Decoration. Decoration. So, second syllable from the last. So, Re takes the syllable, stressed syllable. Next, essential. Essential, word with IAL ending. Take stress on the second syllable from the last. So, essential, you have the stress on sen. Essential. Sympathetic. Sympathetic. Courageous. Courageous. So, you have words like courageous. Ubiquitous. Okay. So, such endings, ION, IAL, IC, OUS endings take stress on the penultimate syllable. Penultimate is nothing but the second syllable from the last. Let's move on to the next rule. Words end in ICAL, IAN, ITY, IZE, LOGY, GRAPHY. Logy, graphy, such words. Take stress on the third syllable from the end. Third syllable from the end. So, for such cases, what we have to do? We have to first write word in syllabification and then try to count the syllables from the end and then put the stress mark. Let's look at the examples here. Musical. Musical. We have written the word M-U-S-I-C-A-L. And what is the rule? Third syllable from the end. So, kal is one, C, S-I is the second, M-U is the third. So, stress falls on the first from word. Musical, first syllable on the word. Musical. So, but you should not say first. We should talk about from the last. Again, we have musician. Musician. So, musician. So, count the syllables from the last. An is the first, CIC is the second, SIC is the third. So, where is the stress? You can observe here, musician. So, how do you utter this word? Musician. You can have capacity, which can be used as nouns, adjectives, take stress on the first syllable. So, disyllabic. Very careful, disyllabic. So, there must be only two syllables in the word. You can observe the example words here. Insult, absent. How many syllables here? Insult, absent. So there are two syllables. So these are called disyllabic words. In such disyllabic words, when the category is nouns and adjectives, the stress falls on the first syllable. And the same disyllabic words, but the category is verbs. Means the word acts as verbs. They take stress on the second syllable. Insult. When I put stress on I, insult, it is noun, but the same word, when I put the stress on the second syllable, insult, it is verb. So you can have these changes in some of the words and you can observe these words in the textbook and you can practice thoroughly. Students, we have learned that while learning a language, the pronunciation of words in that language is acquired first. Hence, the pronunciation is given importance, and here in our today's class we have done syllabification and word stress to master the clarity of speech in English language. And as part of your syllabus, you can practice syllabification and word stress and get good marks. Thank you.